Intactivism is failing beyond belief, and I'm going to provide the solution because I'm not going to sit by and watch this movement burn because of delusional leadership. So I'm going to be taking a step from a for-profit role into more of a non-profit role without the tax benefits, of course. Granted, I can't do this on my own, but let's first talk about some serious problems with intactivism and why this has to happen. Current intactivist billboard messaging, let's talk about those issues. So first, it's blatant advertising. So if you go right here to Cockfight's Facebook, I'm going to go do this one because this has two posters, billboards, whatever you want to call them. So one is foreskin hits different. The other one, celebrate, don't amputate. Both say stop circumcision. Now, if you read right down here, it says at Cockfight USA with a QR code. So the issue with that is that obviously they want you to go ahead and look them up. And they want to get popular. They want to go ahead and get people to follow them. And obviously this is an ad. Also, if you go to the Bloodstained Men, you go up to their billboards, you can see right here that 50% of this billboard is literally an ad. You have their logo taking up about 30% of this, and then you have the bloodstainedmen.com, which is taking up 20% of the board. So that's obviously an advertisement, and people can go ahead and definitely see that. Why is that a problem? Well, it's a problem because people don't like getting advertised to. Your message instantly gets ignored when people realize it's an advertisement. That's why many companies try not to make it look so much like an advertisement. I'll give you examples here shortly, but here's another issue that intactivists have with their billboard messaging is that they're not using facts, but opinions. It says foreskin hits different. All right, no facts in here whatsoever. And celebrate, don't amputate, that's more of a command. It's not any kind of facts, right? It's more of a command than anything. So you're not really teaching people much. And then if we go to the Bloodstained Men, you might think, oh, this is a little bit better because it says circumcision, cruel and harmful, but it's not better because this is just an opinion. And I know you're going to be like, oh no, it's not an opinion, Potts. Circumcision is cruel and harmful. Well, actually, you can even be an intactivist and disagree with this opinion. You could argue that infant circumcision is an unforgivable atrocity and that Bloodstained Men is downplaying how bad circumcision is. And actually, we had somebody who came on Potts. His name was Afternoon. He had a whole interview with us. And he said that the Bloodstained Men don't say really how bad circumcision is. You could make the argument that locking your kid in the closet is cruel and harmful. Spanking your child, having your child self-soothe, etc. That's cruel and harmful. But male infant circumcision, that is an unforgivable, atrocious act. You can have that opinion, and that's your right. It's an opinion. But the issue is you can argue with opinions, right? It's like, so opinions is not the way to go about trying to get a message across, because you're literally just blasting your opinion into the public's eye, and no one's even asked for your opinion, so you're probably going to get a lot of angry people. Also, most people don't give a shit about your opinion, to be super honest with you guys. And on the flip side of this, someone could argue that male circumcision isn't that bad, and their opinion could also be valid. They could say at least you had loving parents that tried to do what's right for you. You weren't born in some impoverished third world country. You at least have this 21st century amenities that you wouldn't have if you were born in the 1900s or earlier. See, once you start trying to do opinions, people start fighting with you. So the point being is that stating your opinion to the public probably is not the best choice, and it reflects in this movement because it's not doing very well. The billboard makes the fight about opinions and not facts. You may have the facts to back up your opinion. I highly recommend using those facts instead of using your opinion, and let the public decide for themselves. If we go ahead and look at the other advertisements, like this is WWF right here. It says, stop one, stop them all. You can see from this messaging that it's talking about, hunting and hunting exotic animals, and it's like a pyramid thing. You don't even see that this is an advertisement. It's super small right down here. Here's another thing from WWF. Look at that, super tiny. And this is just a picture. It says, "We breathe what we buy." This is a toothbrush, burning the world because how the toothbrush is manufactured. Like, this is very powerful visual to get people to understand, hey, be more conscious of what you're buying. If we go here, this is Feeding America, but it says hunger gets stuck in traffic too. 1 in 6 Americans struggles with hunger. Right there, that is a fact. And you can't argue with this fact. 1 in 6 Americans struggle with hunger. And then it says, together we're feeding America. Look how small this little logo is. Point being is that it's getting the point across that, hey, people are hungry. 1 in 6 Americans struggle with hunger. And it has a little pun about hunger gets stuck in traffic, but it backs it up with facts. It's not just something whimsical. That would be bizarre if it just says hunger gets stuck in traffic too, feeding America. That wouldn't hit as hard as saying, hey, like 1 in 6 Americans struggles with hunger. That is a fact, right? And you can't argue with facts. You can't. How do you argue that 1 in 6 Americans struggle with hunger? How do you combat that? Like, what's your argument? Now, I could go ahead and show you Intact America and how they advertise, but to be honest, they don't really advertise outside of Intactivism, and they don't pay to run Facebook ads, it seems, and they're not even X verified. So, I don't know what Intact America is doing. We're just not even going to talk about them in this. So that's part of the issue that I've noticed with Intactivism trying to advertise with billboards. Now, the issues currently with Intactivism online, and just kind of in general as well, is one, I covered this already, but I'm going to restate it, is that they are using circumcision obsessive trash content. I made a video about it. Watch that video if you missed it. Number 2, Intactivism is not popular at all. Foreskin is still being demonized, and the Bloodstained Men's viral video probably made us look like clowns because we had no pushback on it. So this here is the viral video that got 43,000 comments. So if we look at these comments, like, this is me obviously, but if you go down, there's this guy says, this shit right here is why I won, talking about Donald Trump. This is actually a pro Bloodstained Men post, which is good. But here, right here, says I work for urologists and talks about how circumcision is good. And then if we go to the replies, there is no pushback. Look at this. Right, my son is 28 and I was feeling guilty because of these weird crusaders, and asked him one day, and he said no, he isn't upset about it. He was glad I had it done. Also, another person says, my 80-year-old father had to have it done, not fun, and he had problems healing because of his age condition. And then Sheila says, you are 100% correct. Medical field for 30 years. I've seen cancer and numerous infections on uncircumcised. Look at this, guys. Like, these aren't good. And this is just like a reply to a person's comment. We can keep going. This person says, I had my boys circumcised at birth. We had no problems, and they never complained either. Like, it just keeps going and going and going. Like, literally, it's not good. Like, that's not a good optic for you to be losing in the comment section of your original post. Like, we lost in our home field. This was a home field advantage, and we lost in it. So that just clearly shows that we are not popular. We do not have a popular opinion. If I was the Bloodstained Men during this, by the way, I would have made a comment to my members to fight the pro-cutters, to give them an education. I would go to Saving Our Sons and be like, hey, could you share this and ask your followers to make a comment or two on this? Like, Bloodstained Men, if you read these, they're just getting slaughtered. Just slaughtered in the comment sections. Yeah, so these comments are definitely pro circumcision. Like, Bloodstained Men, them going viral wasn't good. There was just no Intactivist pushback, or very little. And, honestly, holding the popular opinion, or seemingly holding the popular opinion, helps sway people. And going viral is not the mission. I know Bloodstained Men celebrated this like they made a huge win. No, going viral is not the mission. Preventing circumcisions is. But lots of groups are seemingly forgetting about that mission. We lost this battle, in my opinion, when Bloodstained Men went viral. This proves we are not winning hearts or minds. Now, third problem to go off of number 2 is that we are in an echo chamber / delusional about how well we're doing. We have been in an echo chamber for too long because I am shocked that our newest POTS ad campaign didn't go very well. We got hammered with hate, just like the Bloodstained Man. But luckily, we did call in some Intactivists to even it up a little bit. But we were in the Intactivist echo chamber before we boosted that post, and we got a wake-up call for sure. And we are probably the most pessimistic or realistic Intactivist group out there, at least in my opinion, because from other groups, I hear, oh, we are near a tipping point. Oh, we are going to ban infant circumcision. And obviously, circumcisions are wrong to normal people. It's just the few people that think it's okay. Like, I hear this from many different Intactivist groups and people. Breaking news from POTS, they're delusional. This ad campaign had made me realize that Intactivism has a long way to go, and even Bloodstained Men going viral. I'll once again go in more details about the ad campaign on Facebook later. And thus, number 4, lots of money is being wasted on unproven methods on protecting children from getting circumcised and keeping their bodily autonomy. If a group says we get the conversation started, that's a red flag because they will post pro-circumcision content if that means quote-unquote getting the conversation started. Intactivists currently are their own bad guys, and you are paying for it if you do happen to donate to certain Intactivist groups for Intactivists to play both sides. Also, the more grandiose the Intactivist group claims, the more money he or she makes. And that means Intactivists are willing to pay more despite the evidence or likelihood of them succeeding. Like, think about that. If I say something insane, like, oh yeah, we're going to go ahead and get reparations from people who circumcised us, and I had a plan and I was kind of popular, people would be throwing money at me. That's literally how Intactivists think. Doesn't make any sense to me, but that's how Intactivists think. I guess it just comes from a state of desperation. Also, number 5, Intactivism has a real problem with a lack of keyboard warriors. Keyboard warriors, although they are made fun of, they are so very important. They are the backbone to any internet movement. If you don't have any engagement, you're done. Your post isn't going anywhere. Now, this is a 2-part problem. 1, there's a serious lack of motivation and willingness to go ahead and make comments in the Intactivist community. And 2, there is so much garbage posted made by these quote-unquote professional nonprofit Intactivist groups. And I honestly try to comment and support other Intactivist groups and their posts, but I honestly shouldn't be playing that role, to be honest, but I do it anyways. And do Intactivists ever comment on POTS videos or other things? Very rarely. I think we get some comments from Gaudaf, Intact Nigeria, CLR, and maybe Unaltered. But the mainstream Intactivist groups, forget about it. Like, Bloodstained Men don't comment on our stuff. Intact America doesn't comment on our stuff. Cockfight rarely sometimes comments on our stuff. They don't care to comment on your posts or videos, even though, I do it for them. And that is a problem. And granted, I would love it if the Intactivist community would go ahead and also comment on people's posts. Like, for instance, if just 30% of the Saving Our Sons followers would go ahead and comment on this viral video, that would drown out so many haters. It would be fantastic. And it would almost double the amount of comments too. I mean, even if Saving Our Sons followers, even if just 10%, that's 12,000 comments, if 10% would comment on every single post, on like a post like right here, look at this, 25 comments, that's it. If this had 1,000 comments, this would be super big. I mean, granted, there is 71 shares here, which is awesome, and a bunch of reactions, but still, we could do so much better. This should all be in the thousands with 122,000 followers. But you see this problem consistently, even with something as big as Genital Integrity Awareness Week 2025. You got 6 shares, no comments whatsoever. I'll comment real quick for you guys. So yeah, 1 comment. That's, yep, 1 comment. That's it. Anyways, point being is that there's just a serious lack of comments in the comment section. So how are we at POTS going to rectify and avoid these pitfalls with a brand new campaign? So with this in mind, we are now going to be focusing on educating the public. We are going to provide just the facts on why being intact is better than being circumcised in way of circumcision bad. I don't like doing that, but we're going to have to do that because we can't promote foreskin positivity stuff because it's considered sexual online, and you can't promote sex stuff in an advertisement. Also, negativity news sticks in your mind better anyways. So let me give you an example of what we're going to go ahead and post. So notice here that we aren't advertising ourselves. These are just the facts. I'm not going to advertise POTS unless we are forced to put our name or Facebook link on it, but this will serve more to warn people than shout our opinions into the cyber world. People are going to have a lot harder time arguing with just facts. Like, how are you going to argue that all these health organizations either oppose or do not recommend infant male circumcision, and that the AAP doesn't even have a statement because it expired? How are you going to argue against that? And this is just one. The second thing we're going to do is, let's say they do try to argue with the facts. Our division of keyboard warriors, we are going to call them WALKs, which stands for Wisdom Outstanding Knowledge Squad. We also need to use the tactic of bandwagoning popular opinion to get people to rethink their stance. You aren't arguing for the person you are replying to, but those who are reading the argument. And if 15 people hopped down my throat for saying something on Facebook, it doesn't matter what it was. And if I thought I was right, I don't care if they used cleverness, wit, facts, or just insults. I'm going to reevaluate my life for sure. And my stance on the issue. Like 15 people hopping down my throat on something, that's a lot of people. Granted, we don't have that many people yet in the walk crew, but hopefully we get more. But you'll be surprised how many people's minds you can change with just having a lot of people backing you up. So hopefully we grow the walks, so please go ahead and join us on our Discord to go ahead and be a part of that. Third thing is we are going to limit spending on advertising, so we are going to spend money for sure. I would love to spend $1,000 and boost a post and get 250,000 people to see it. Unfortunately, there isn't enough Intactivists out there to combat that many people or educate that many people, whichever way you'd like to go ahead and say that. So we're only going to keep it at $100 per post. I also expect Intactivists to reshare it and spread it so we have more Intactivists helping us, and have these Intactivist groups do their jobs. I don't know how else to say it, to be honest with you. Now, the fourth thing is we are going to use 5 really good facts and posts, and we're just going to cycle through boosting them because it provides enough variety to where others can be like, oh, this makes sense. I understand now, and they can come to circumcision is bad on their own. We made 2 already. I just showed you guys 1. Hopefully we get the other 3 done in about a week. The pans are looking into them, but the facts need to be spread, not creating 3,000 trashy posts. But we don't need that, okay? We just need 5 good posts, and we just need to keep spreading that. We might make up to maybe 10 really good factual short posts and upload them, but we want to start small and work our way up. This isn't sexy. This isn't like, oh, get retribution, ban things. It's not that, and I totally understand that, but Intactivism, the way I see it, we don't even have the popular opinion. We don't have the hearts and minds. We're losing in cyberspace. We're losing in the streets. We need to figure out something and just get small victories at this point. Now, the fifth thing is we're only going to use short posts that is easy for people to read. No long paragraphs, no videos, and we are going to have pan people and maybe even you guys check it out. Okay, the sixth thing is we are going to listen to you guys. Like I said, if we post garbage, you guys can give us feedback and make new ads for us even. We'll accept post ideas, even accept artwork from you guys if it isn't super graphic. If it's super graphic, we can't post it, sorry. The seventh thing is we're going to be using Facebook because we checked on the Facebook ad versus the X ad. The Facebook is much better engagement, to be honest. So we are going to be focusing a lot on Facebook and getting that message out there for right now. And then next cycle, we can hop over to, X. So in that news, hop over to my Facebook, like my page, so you guys can get updated and stuff. I guess this will be my Helping Intactivism POTS page as well. Now, I expect Intactivists to help out POTS and our members, but I am also totally ready for disappointment. If POTS doesn't get volunteers to do essentially nonprofit work, I'll be pretty upset. Honestly, Also, full transparency, POTS barely made $7,000 last year. And surprise, $7,000 doesn't last 12 months or even 6 months. For anyone who has a life could tell you that life is expensive, and that's just for POTS' business things. Anyways, I'm setting up a coffee account to help fund this. I am setting this at $2,000. You guys can go ahead and check it right here. This is the video, you guys are watching it right now. I can add more to this later. But anyways, $2,000 should get us through maybe 5 months of just the Intactivism ads if we advertise once a week for $100. All the other expenses I'm paying for, I'm probably going to be in at least a $10,000 deficit for POTS at the end of this year. Also, ideally, a VTuber wouldn't be having to go out and put facts on the internet about men's sexual health, but which is better, a VTuber or men in all white wearing cowboy hats giving out medical facts about foreskins? Actually, I think a VTuber might actually be a little bit better, but let me know down in the comments what you guys think. Anyways, join the walks on my Discord, donate, and let's actually do some effective Intactivism. I hate asking for money, but kind of have to. Thank you guys so much for watching.
Bye.